What's it like for you to see your Cowboys family now on TV for the whole world to see? You've been around this team for so long. Now we get to see these guys wrapping presents for each other. We get to see them catching punts. We get to see them in the locker room. It just gets the whole world gets a look in to the Dallas Cowboys, a team you've covered for a long time.
Well, I had a few takeaways. And to your point, of course, I've watched Hard Knocks over the years, but it does hit a little bit closer to home when, you know, the cameras are in front of you every day and they're shooting this, but you've also gotten to know a lot of these guys off the field. I love that they started with Dak Prescott because I think fans got to see authentically who he is. In fact, there's a person working on a piece on Dak Prescott, and they reached out to me and they said, just for perspective, is Dak really as likable as everybody says he is? And I said, that's the crazy thing about him. You know, I've covered plenty of quarterbacks over the years, and I think they get battle scars from dealing with the media. They sort of clam up. They start to distrust people. Their circles get smaller. Dak's not that guy. I mean, when I go and do events with him, or whether it be at the football field or when I see him out at dinner or in public in Dallas, what you see is what you get. And I think that's what endeared him so quickly to that locker room in 2016 and why it was so easy for Jerry to hand the keys to the franchise to him over a guy that vacationed with the Jones family in the offseason. So I appreciated that. And then I also feel like a lot of people just refuse to give Ezekiel Elliott credit for personal growth and getting older and wiser. I'm glad I'm not judged on a lot of the mistakes that I made when I was 20, 21, and I'm glad there wasn't cell phone videos back then, quite frankly. And so when I've seen his maturation over the years and his playfulness and what he's like away from the cameras because of so much that he had to deal with early on in his career as it related to the media and scrutiny and you know, everyone's observations, and you can say what you will about all of that, but he is a very likable guy. His teammates absolutely love him, and Dak and him truly do have this special bond. You know, one has the 2-1 as his jersey number 21, the other is 4, and then the area code of Dallas is 214. So it's always been this really, and they're polar opposites. You know, these two guys have completely different personalities, and they're sort of an unlikely couple, but it is just such an authentic and pure friendship and relationship. And then, like I said, Micah Parsons is one of these guys who you never know what to make of the hype train especially with the Cowboys. Like, it's really hard not to drink the Kool-Aid sometimes because of the PR machine that is Dallas. But Micah Parsons consistently makes plays on the football field. And there was all of that stuff at Penn State. I talked to a number of teams that just felt there was a little too much there for them. And I pressed him on that, you know, his introductory press conference. And he said, look, that's behind him. There was an investigation into some of the things that were related to, I would call it hazing on campus, so to speak. And he was ready to move forward. And since then, he really has just shown up and shown out for this team every day in practice. He was only in for 2 series in the Pittsburgh game and had the fumble recovery and I think 3 tackles. And then you saw on the show, he just kept wanting to play. He just reminds me of, I don't know if you have siblings, guys, but I have a younger sister. She's 6 years younger. And growing up, she always wanted to play with me and my friends. So she'd always come knock on the door and we'd slam the door. You can't play with us. That kind of feels like Micah sometimes at practice. Like, he's just so eager to hang out with the veterans and be a part of the group. I just wonder how that acclimation's going to take place. But I think when you're making plays and you're helping the defense win that side of the ball, I think it's going to be very easy for him to do that.
Co-host of the Boys and Girl podcast for Fox Sports Radio, Jane Slater, joins the show. Jane, yesterday when Messi was announced for PSG, the PSG account on Instagram went up by 20 million followers. Did your follower count go up from your cameo on Hard Knocks last night?
I think someone said my head looked like a Twinkie because all you saw was like blonde hair, and it was like, you know, this kind of cone shape, and it was taking up a third of the screen. I was disappointed. I did get it an IMDb credit, so Jane's head will get, you know, its own page. But I was disappointed. I asked some of those questions, and, you know, at least give me a producer credit, Hard Knocks. You know, I'm putting a lot of effort into looking my TV best out there, and can't even get a look out there. It's tough out in these streets.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.